All right, so I'm packing up. This is going to be my last night where I'm staying, and there's a part of me that is like I don't want to share necessarily that like the tears or those kind of things, but I did a beautiful hike today with Nate and another really beautiful friend, and what was really coming through. And I wonder if other people experience this in our journeys, our spiritual journeys of coming to know who we are, but like this, just this deeper sense of awe and reverence for life. And yet, like, I sit here right now, and I'm measuring that, like, I have enough money to get myself moved as I take on some new clients. And hopefully, right? Like, there's all this kind of stuff. They say don't count your chickens before you hatch. But what I'm telling you is about the sense of like being in the now. And I feel like what this experience is teaching me is that imagination is important, visioning are important. But then we have to like release that energy into the universe and allow it to come to us. And I am in such like a state of not shock or unknowing, but where life has really just brought me to a place of like, really all I can do at this point is be present, cry out things, what have you. And like I'm jumping and I'm looking at, like, I text my ex, who I just am so fond of and was a wonderful, wonderful person in my life. Taught me so much in just a short time. And, I think about those relationships and friendships that have seemed to shift or change. And I've always been okay with that. I've moved a lot and I've had beautiful, beautiful people come in and out of my life, but there's something really different about what this process is and what I'm going through. And this show is not all meant to be like, oh, boo. I don't even know what it's meant to be. I don't have any labels on it. I don't know how I'm going to create any of the things. I'm right now, I'm doing my best to pack. But I am so, so, so appreciative for being able to have breath work, understanding my body, listening to the intelligence of the universe that wants to be with me in the moment of just like be present. And, I was like, I came home and I was nervous and I wanted to eat. And I was just going to eat like heavy stuff. And it's like, no, I don't need to eat. These patterns, these things in the past where we're grabbing onto them. And I think society right now, we're grabbing onto the life rafts of everything, of more, buy more, or fuck this, fuck that. And you can see it, and war, and you can see the chaos and all of these things going on. That's all the stuff that's going on within us and within me. And to be honest, like, I hate that phrase, actually. Let me strike that. Not to be honest. Here is what is in my head. It's like, I hate to admit that as much confidence as I have that somehow I'm on the right path, I'm nervous. I am scared. I don't know what it's going to bring. On the hike, I had this like kind of this vision of, I'm going to set this down because I don't want to hold it the whole time. So I had this like vision of like really come through, like, since I was a kid, of wanting to go to like Tanzania and look at the world. And I was talking to a couple of people on the hike and they're like, oh, Africa's so dangerous. And I just wonder how much of the world is really dangerous if we allow ourselves to explore it in new ways. There's so many people that go all over, and we listen to this fear, and then we allow it to that pattern. Like, we have these own patterns within us, but then we have these like collective bigger patterns of like, oh, Africa is so scary and so poor, and so like they only ever show you like the dirt, or but we know that it's like beautiful, it's like gorgeous, or parts of the there's a lot of beauty in the world that doesn't get shown that way, right? And what I'm grappling with is, we talked about attachment, and we look at these attachment to things. Could be a home, could be a car. For me, it was my car. Clothes, art, furniture, people. We can get really attached to people. And I've come to realize that I think pretty much outside of all the things I have, I'm really okay, like, with just me and Amos. Like, and I'm pretty attached to him. And this is a big lesson in the journey of a soul's journey. And what I am experiencing and what I have learned is, like, Amos came into my life. So I think we get these situations that come into our life to teach us, to expand us. And I've never loved something the way I loved him. And I've had to work with him because he was a foster cat and he was feral, and he's just got this bright, soulful energy. Everybody loves him, just like his papa. And what I'm working through in this whole experience is not just him, but what are the things that we really attach ourselves to in life that we think have meaning? People, places. Because I've thought, like, I can see my life really being something that is far more living around the world. Maybe not ever even living in the United States again. Or could I, living in new places, and then what rushes in is these ideas of like, oh no, well, the not lack of stability, but just this like on this edge of like, this, I'm going after the life I've always dreamed of, and I'm now afraid of it. And not really afraid of like traveling. I'm not afraid of traveling. I'm not afraid of going to new places and meeting people. I think what I'm really afraid of is who I might become, or who I will become by doing it. And it's so insane. Like, when I'm working with clients, or I'm working even like with companies, and they're wanting to transform and change, and we know that there's this trajectory we want to go, or we have this vision or this dream that we want to go after, but we fear that success. And I know that there's this, like, somebody gave a quote on this personal development thing I did, that like, what we actually fear is not failure. We fear our success. We fear our power. And I never thought that would be totally true. And I am, because I sense this, who I am as a soul, unveiling itself more and revealing itself more to me. Not the things of who I was, because I have nothing. I mean, in the majority of society's mind, I now pretty much have like nothing. Like, yes, I've got some nice items, and I've got clothing, and I've got far more than a lot of other people. But I think a lot of people will be like, you really don't have anything going for you. And yet I have this deeper sense of like connection to myself, and I wouldn't trade that for any of the other things that I would have. I wouldn't trade it for all the beautiful people that have come in my life and experiences, because I have allowed myself to flow. And so when I am thinking, we are thinking about this river and jumping really into my own flow, and where does that carry me? It's not the unknown or the uncertainty, but it really is, who will I become? And when I look at my own life, I came from this really conservative cult. Jehovah's Witnesses are a cult. And the things that they do, we won't get into. But I had this one vision and viewpoint of the world and life, and that world existed for me very much, and much of it was in fear and lack. And then I moved out of that and becoming, accepting queer, but I didn't know what was on the other side when I came out to myself, and then I was outed and I lost everything. I didn't know. I kind of found my way, and I started experimenting and testing and trying because I needed to, because that's, I think, what life is like. And I'm wondering, like, do other people go through this, or do they just take kind of these normal stages? Because this doesn't feel normal. What the fuck is normal? But as I pack, like, for my last night, I'm really feeling this deep sense of like that life really is in these very still moments, and these very minute details of like packing up my clothes, and like, I feel like I'm saying goodbye to someone I was. And how often do we, and do you, not allow those things to flow away? Or we try to force it, even friendships. I had a really dear friend, probably one of my closest friends that I would really have considered family. And that friendship is like totally ended. And I kind of had sensed it. So I had sensed over time that this was coming. Like, it was just not feeling right. And so when things aren't feeling right, then are we not going, that we don't listen to them, because then we're like, no, well, my friend has always been here. And that's what I justified. And why I'm sharing this is because so many of the people that I come across that are like attached to those things, well, I really don't want to do that, but I'm doing it because blah, blah, blah. But if I really could, I'd go do this. And what if the universe, and what if our souls, and what if God, and what if is asking us to really go after those things because it's important for this beautiful puzzle of life to work even better? And so when I let that friendship go, and it's being present with me today, so maybe I haven't let it go, right? Because it's right here with me. It's just this realization of like the honoring of the moments that we get to spend with people, places, or the things that maybe we have, and honoring them with a deeper reverence. And also being okay when they flow, when there's a natural call for them to flow away. And I think that I feel, so thought or feeling, I feel a powerful current moving me in this direction. And I feel, and I think this is where the head comes in, of the excitement of what's possible to really go after one's dream, to grow and to expand. And to know that there really is no looking back. I don't feel like I can look back anymore. I almost don't even sense a past anymore. I feel a spiritual shift happening for me. And what I find is a lot of times we resist that. We resist these urges and calls and the natural flowings of life. And so as much as for me it feels chaotic and I'm kind of scared, I also understand very deeply that this is like a flow. This is happening for me and almost through me. And in that, I think I'm coming to find a different definition of happiness and joy and love that is not this like, oh, ecstatic, which is great, right? Like, oh, I love and deep, but it's like this steady stream of energy and flow that feels powerful. So, a lot in this video as I'm moving through it all, and one of the big things that just keeps coming up is like, you're supposed to make this about everybody else. You're supposed to help everybody else. You're supposed to serve everybody else. And I know that I am here to be of service, but I am also, for the first time, taking a stance of taking care of me, this little boy, and his dreams, and sharing and voicing something that feels like it wants to be said through me, like this wants to be expressed. And if it helps somebody, great. If not, it's one of the most cathartic ways for me to like realize that the work that I love to do and the work that I really want to do and the beauty that I see in the world and everything that I am so passionate about, that those things, I am allowed to express them in my own ways. And yes, be of service to other people. Yes, I know that when I found other people who could share their experience, especially like when I was gay, or not when, like I am queer, it was part of my life, but when I met when I was a young kid and I met a gay person for the first time, even if I just felt suddenly like, oh, they know. And the funny thing is like when I meet an ex-Jehovah's Witness, it's like this whole instant like, oh, you understand. And there's this like, and so that's my hope in doing these things too, is that we build a community of more people who are going after their dreams, but are also like, oh, okay, you're doing it too. Like you're scared shitless that you're packing everything up and don't know what's on the other side. You don't know what's happening just outside this next moment, and you're okay with it, but you're also learning to like regulate and deal with it or be with it. So I'm hoping that you find these videos valuable and that you come along on your own journey of asking these deeper questions around, what kind of attachments, what are the dreams that you want, what are the fears that of who you really think you could become or want to become, and why is that holding you back? And I think it's okay to be in those spaces and to not just be like, oh, it's all going to go away, but it's okay to feel it in our body and to open up this expanse of like energy that it can contain it. We are able to contain it. And I know that. I know it. That's a knowing. It's not a thought. It's a knowing that I can feel this expansive energy opening up within me that's like, yes, as I moved all of these other emotions and old energy and programming out, and I can be as present, then it's like God just comes flowing through in its most beautiful way. And again, this journey for me and my belief for humanity is a call back to that expansiveness, to the love, and to the exploration of what is really possible when we follow our hearts, despite the fears, despite maybe the whom we think we're losing, or the things that we thought we held really dear that we let go of. But man, I think about this. If I were God, I would make it a beautiful journey. One that's, maybe it's got some challenges, much like being on a river, some bumps. That makes it fun, but nothing that we're not capable of. But it would be beautiful and exciting and eye-opening to what's possible. And that's what I'm here for. And to find others that are doing it, and to inspire a world that there's a lot more beauty out there, and peace and love when we start to dive in. I don't know. I don't know what's on the other side, and that's okay. But come along with me. And please like, subscribe, share with other friends. And I would want to hear from you guys, like if there's places or experiences you think that I should hear, that I should know about, or conversations and discussions or questions that you have. I would love to interact with you all. I think that's fun. So like, subscribe, comment, share, and if you want to help at all fund this journey, then you can find the link to GoFundMe. And let's see where it goes. The adventure has already commenced. Maybe it's already done, and I'm just finally catching up. Much love.